Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Thanks for coming out to watch the forum. My name is Jessica Gonzalez. I'm this year's PTO president. The PTO is pleased to host tonight's parent forum so that we can learn a little bit more about our candidates running for the vacant community board member seat for the Steele Canyon High School Governing Board. Tonight the candidates will have an opportunity to introduce themselves and respond to some prepared questions about their qualifications for the board, as well as their intentions and priorities if elected to serve. In an effort to ensure the candidate's information is accessible to those unable to attend tonight, the forum will be recording the event, and we'll post a link of the forum on our PTO website, the social media sites, Parent Square, and Paw Prints for all of our families to view. A quick housekeeping: restrooms are in the back. We have snacks and water over there, so please help yourself whenever you would like. We have a total of 3 candidates running for one open vacant community member seat. I want to be mindful of everyone's time and ask that you keep your responses to the time allotted, which we're going to do for 3 minutes. I will now turn the forum over to Mr. Parr, who has graciously agreed to serve as our moderator. Thank you, Mr. Parr.
All right, good evening, and just I'll introduce by name for the record, and I know you will in a moment. Running for this year's vacant governing board seat, we have Nicole Hall, Susanna Valencia Martin, and Jerry Lancaster. Question 1, Nicole Hall has been selected to answer. We will then move down the line in order. Susanna Valencia Martin will answer the same question, followed by Jerry Lancaster. We will then rotate who answers the question first. So we'll go ahead and get started. Briefly, this question will start with Nicole. Briefly state your name, connection to Steele Canyon High School, and what makes you uniquely qualified to serve on the Steele Canyon Governing Board.
So good evening. I am Nicole Hall, and I am I love the school and I love the community. And I have 3 kids, and 2 of them actually go to Steele Canyon right now. One is a sophomore and one is a senior. And then I have a sophomore at San Diego State University who actually got really prepared by Steele Canyon to go to college. And he is actually doing computer engineering, and he actually learned through the computer science class here that he loved it, and he's doing wonderful. I also own a small business in Hamul, and it's Taproot Montessori Preschool. And then I also have been living in the community of Hamul for almost 10 years. So that's why I think I should be the community member representative.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hall. We'll move on down. Susanna Valencia Martin, same question. Briefly state your name, connection to Steele Canyon High School, and what makes you uniquely qualified to serve on the governing board.
Hello, my name is Susanna Martin. I have 2 sons. One is an alumni from Steele, graduated in 22. I have another son who is a junior this year. And so I've been part of the Steele Canyon family for 6 years now. I live in Lakeside, El Cajon Lakeside area, and can't imagine going to any other school other than Steele Canyon. It's just been a pleasure since we first got here, 6 years ago, when my son was a freshman, and the way everything that was handled through the COVID years and all of that. I got to be part of watching my son's classes at home, so just I find that we had a really good time and watching and being part of that. I'm also on the Steele Regiment parent band board boosters, and so I just feel very invested in this school and how it's run. So.
All right, thank you, Susanna. And same question to Jerry Lancaster. Briefly state your name, connection to Steele Canyon High School, and what makes you uniquely qualified to serve on the governing board.
I'm Jerry Lancaster. My daughter Madison is a freshman here. It's been awesome. She really wanted to come here to kind of follow some of her friends that were able to come here and stuff like that. And she was really excited because of her experience with the AYF cheer that she did as a 7th grader. and that was a great experience for her. So we were really, happy to be able to send her here this year. We've been in the neighborhood since about 2018. We live in La Mesa, and I'm kind of starting to reshift my career into education, and that's really nice. I'm working as the site substitute teacher at Parkway Middle School, and so that's really exciting. It was a nice kind of second start after I had to end my commercial pilot career after an injury. But I'm just really excited about it, and it's also been a really great opportunity to kind of work in with my kids and spend a lot of time with them. And I also have some education that supports public administration, and I'm excited to put it to use.
Thank you. All right, and the next question we will lead with Miss Susanna Valencia Martin. Question 2, what do you see as the biggest challenges Steele Canyon faces over the next 5 years?
I believe one of the challenges is growth. As more students as Steele Canyon is becoming more and more popular and more people want to come here, just the growth but the infrastructure of the growth, the transportation, the in and out, I believe that might be one of our bigger issues in over the next 5 years or so. Just accommodating the desire that people have to want to be able to come here. As far as other issues, I don't see a whole lot of anything wrong with Steele Canyon. So the only one that I see at this point is just the transportation in and out, and then the growth of the school itself, being that it's in a canyon. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And same question to Jerry Lancaster. What do you see as the biggest challenges Steele Canyon faces over the next 5 years?
So a lot of that, yes. I can right away tell that you guys have built something amazing here. We're happy to be a part of it. And it seems like, everything's viable with the budget. That's great. I do think that probably growth could be an issue moving forward. We need to be able to maintain what's been built and keep everything and all these amenities that the students are able to have at this point in time, kind of maintain them, as the years go on, and also kind of fix things that may or may not be perceived as a problem. I know transportation is kind of a thorn in everyone's side, who hasn't dropped their kid off in the morning or picked them up and had trouble, but that is something that we're going to have to balance with the priorities of what we have and what we want. And as that evolves, that process is happening more rapidly. In the next 5 years, we might have to come up with a few iterations of things that the students need, and whether or not we can keep the things that they've got and continue to have a viable budget moving into the future for the continued rapid evolution of those needs.
Thank you. And same question to Nicole Hall. What do you see as the biggest challenges Steele Canyon faces over the next 5 years?
Well, I definitely agree with them with the growth and the transportation and things like that. But to try to think of something different, I think being competitive along with the other schools that are probably going to try to be charter schools like we are. I know we compete with Helix a little bit, and there's some differences with them. I think also some good things that we could do a little bit more of is have our kids be able to maybe be partners with more of the community colleges and use Grossmont and Cuyamaca, especially Cuyamaca, so that we can grow with them and grow as a community. But I think the biggest thing is probably, ins and outs of this place and trying to, if we could make a back way to get into the school, I think it would be awesome. But it's really hard to think of challenges because this school is so amazing and it's been great for all 3 of my kids, and I think that's about it. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to the third question, and Jerry will lead off. What do you identify as the biggest strengths and areas of growth from your perspective?
I think that as far as strengths are concerned, we have a really strong community base and a really like the academic excellence is where it needs to be in getting there. It's something that drew me in as a parent, and you know, that's essentially why we're here. Obviously, that's gonna be like a high priority moving forward. And what was the other thing? The weakness, the second half?
Yeah, areas of growth, strengths and areas of growth.
Okay. So I would say areas for growth would be kind of expanding on the academic excellence and kind of making that available to more of the students. That's just in line with the mission statement and the vision statement of the school, and you know, like kind of what I'd like to see moving forward.
All right, back to Nicole Hall. And what do you feel are the biggest strengths and areas of growth at Steele Canyon?
So one of my children has a disability and a reading disability, and so we have the IEP program, and I've gone through the IEP program with Steele Canyon for all 4 years, and they've been amazing. And I think just the fact that we have different things for the kids to help them at home. I know as a parent, sometimes it's hard to like, oh my gosh, keep up with some of these math classes that they have. And so one of the things that we are rolling out, or Steele Canyon's rolling out right now, is called Tutor Me. And it is amazing. I actually checked it out the other day online, and it's something where the kids can actually go in and they can put in their math issues, and then there's actually a physical person that talks back to them. And then they can also, for like English, put in their essay, and like within 12 hours they can get, or less than 12 hours, they can get different feedback on their writing. So I think that's definitely one of the ways that we're improving. And then, what else was I going to say? What was the last part of it? Sorry.
Strengths and areas of growth.
So that's one of the biggest strengths. I think also the diversity that this school has, and we're starting to get more and more diversity. I love all the different clubs and all the different cultures. There's a lot of club activity. And also as far as like ASB goes, the spirit of this school is amazing. I think with our homecoming, we had a great homecoming. About 70% of the kids actually went to the homecoming dance. So I think our ASB is very, very strong, and so I love being here.
Thank you. And to Susanna Valencia Martin, what do you feel are our biggest strengths and areas of growth at Steele Canyon High School?
Certainly that one of the areas, the strengths is the special education department with the IEP and the full gamut of the students that are supported by the special education department, whether it's a reading issue or severely disabled. There's something here for them to help. That's one of the things I really appreciate about this school. One of the other areas of strength is the performing arts department. The award-winning performing arts department, I should say. Just so many strong performers, dancers, theater, musicians, runs the gamut of incredible. They are outstanding. I love going to all the productions because they are just amazing. They're to me they're professional level. And as far as areas of growth, possibly a little bit more with the sports, getting stronger coaches, or like more encouragement for some of the other athletes to be able to come in and kind of display how well they are. No, that's not a good sentence. how well they work and their athleticism, and just kind of just overall encouraging more sports as well.
All right, thank you. And for question number 4, we'll go back to Nicole Hall. What inspired you to run for a seat on the Steel Canyon Governing Board?
What inspired me? Well, just coming to the board meetings, I think all of the people up here really inspired me. And like I said, the ASB I was involved in ASB way back when. And I think coming up with just like new ideas for the school, and there is something that I actually came up with a little bit is, so like for senior night and different nights that are hard to fund is, you've got the football and they've got their concession stand, and then you've got like water polo and swim and they have their concession stand. Well, what if I have a son who plays on the varsity baseball team and there's no concession stand up there. So coming up with something different, like making a pop-up concession stand so that people can get cold waters, Gatorades, different snacks, and if we can, barbecue. And that way we can fund senior nights and other fun activities for the kids in sports. And also we can go, we can give it back to the sport as well. But I think just watching the board meetings really inspired me. So thank you.
All right, and to Susanna Valencia Martin, what inspired you to run for a seat on the Steel Canyon Governing Board?
Like I said, this is my 6th year here, and I value what this school has to offer, and I want to be able to be a part of making a difference at the school, to allow the board to create an atmosphere that is welcoming and inviting to all the students, all the families, the parents, staff, teachers. I just want to be a part of making it a better place and ensuring that the good things that we do have continue moving forward. Just because this is an exceptional place to be. Like I said, we drive about 20 minutes a day to get here, sometimes 30, but we've passed 3 or 4 schools, high schools, that we could have chosen, but we want to be here, and I just want to make a difference to make sure that the experience my sons have had is the same shared experience that other people get to have as well.
Thank you. And same question to Jerry Lancaster. What inspired you to run for a seat on the Steel Canyon Governing Board?
So last year when my daughter was an 8th grader and we were doing the which high school, charter school, where do we send her? There was like just great energy here, and we pretty much knew right away, and I knew right away that I wanted to get involved in any way I could, especially given that I had the time and stuff, and who doesn't want to just bother their kids just nonstop, right? So anything I can do to, pester her would be great. But, just my son is 10 years old, so they're not going to exactly overlap, but I'd like him to come here too. And that time gap, we're talking about that 5-year timeline from before, that's going to be directly affecting him. And if I can be involved in kind of keeping the ball rolling and getting the good things that we have now, bolstering them, and kind of like one thing, like to share an idea that I was having is I know there are companies in San Diego and industries that we can kind of tap into as far as high school internships and stuff are concerned that would be awesome to kind of like maybe if there's not already something like that I know of, we can kind of start that outreach. I think that'd be a cool thing to be a part of, and really just anything I can do. I'm just super excited about it. And in the back of my mind, knowing that I have a second kid, kind of he's going to be a high schooler before I know it. I just kind of have that desire to be a part of my kid's education, and with that longevity in mind.
All right, thank you. And we have one more official question before we go to kind of closing statements, followed by a Q&A from our audience. So the 5th question for us, we'll start with Susanna Valencia Martin. What do you see as the primary work of the Board of Education?
Well, certainly the fiduciary responsibility to make sure that everything, the money is all spent properly, and to across the board, that it's sent to the right spots for where it's needed most. Also, one of the other responsibilities is to make sure that we follow the proper protocols, make sure everything is done according to the bylaws. We are a charter. We have rules and regulations that need to be followed, and the proper protocol needs to be followed in all circumstances to make sure that everybody is treated fairly, and that there's equitable treatment of everyone, teachers, staff, students, and that.
Thank you. To Jerry Lancaster, what do you see as the primary work of the Board of Education?
So I think a huge percentage of the job is making sure that you have in place the right team, the right CEO, the right CFO to kind of like handle those things, like the fiduciary responsibilities and stuff. Additionally, you need transparency so that the community can be directly involved. And as far as the bylaws are concerned, I think that the board's responsibility is to ensure that they reflect what the community intends. So, I think in general, we're all here for the kids, right? So as long as the bylaws reflect the children's best interest and the finances are transparent and the right teams in place to kind of manage the school on the day-to-day, I think aside from that, being able to kind of function as a board and cultivate the relationships you need with, Grossmont Union High School District and their board. I think that sums it up for me. Sorry.
Thank you. All right, and to Nicole Hall, what do you feel is the primary work of the Board of Education?
Well, it's kind of to piggyback on what they both said. I think the bylaws and the finances and everything are very, very important. I think some of the different things that Steel Canyon is doing since I've been coming to the board meetings is taking some of that money and using it towards programs to have the kids able to go to the colleges and to do some different things with the colleges and the local communities. I think also making sure that we have the right teachers in place, the right CEOs, making sure that the staff in the schools are maybe going and visiting each other to see what you're doing better and see what you can improve on. So I think, and also going to the different classrooms and making sure that they're running correctly and that the students are getting really what they need and that we keep the diversity of the schools. Thank you.
So that was the last official question we have for you this evening. Everyone will have an opportunity to make any final thoughts or closing remarks before we open it up to questions for the audience. And we will start with Jerry Lancaster.
I'm just excited that we have 3 parents up here. You know what I mean? That was like my main thing. It's like, I hope whoever it ends up being, it's a parent. So there's that, I'm excited to be here. I'd love the opportunity, but I'm sure, we can't miss. There's, 3 awesome candidates up here. And, thank you.
All right, thank you. And to Nicole Hall.
Well, again, I just want to say I've loved being a part of this school. I think also for about 6-7 years. I do have someone who's on to college, and the school has done an amazing job preparing him. And so that is one of the reasons why I have a senior and now I have a sophomore, and they are all involved in the activities, the homecomings, the ASB. They love the sports programs here. Can't say enough about some of the coaches, some of the soccer coaches and things like that, and the baseball coaches that I've been a part of. But I think I love this school, and I really want to do what I can to help this school and come up with new ideas and support the board. So thank you.
All right, thank you. And Susanna Valencia Martin.
Yes, again, like he said, there's 3 terrific candidates here. I'm happy for any of the 3 of us to get it. But I love, like I said, love being here. I appreciate everything that the school has, all the different programs, clubs. There's a place for everybody, which is one of the things I truly love about this school. And I just look forward to being able to make a difference and make the school be what it is truly meant to be.
Thank you. Closing out a little bit. Questions from the audience? Does anybody from the audience have a question? Yeah, come on up. The microphone's up there, but if you project from here, you should be all right.
Hi, I'm Angie Hernipakis. Nicole, you mentioned diversity and the importance of that at Still Canyon. Can you tell me a little bit about how you feel that the board can influence that? And then I'd like to hear from the other candidates.
I think as far as the board goes, we can definitely get out there to more of the community. I think maybe like doing different things in the community. Like he had mentioned, maybe doing things with different companies and going outside of our little bubble here. I think also just the clubs that we have. I think that really brings in the diversity of the kids. There is something like, I think what's going on right now this month, I'm not exactly sure, I can't remember exactly what the club is, but there's some different things going on right now. I know that there's some things that are going to happen in November and December, and so just bringing in all the kids and making sure that they have a place.
And Susanna Valencia Martin.
Yeah, similar to that, reaching out to the other schools a little bit further out than just our regular feeder schools. I know one of the things that band does to hopefully get some band members in is they will go out to the schools and encourage, and some of the band members will go out there, play a little concert with them, and encourage their interest in coming to Steele and being part of the band program. I think if we could do something like that for some of the other schools, as far as like the different clubs and different, maybe the sports teams can go to some of the other schools a little bit further out, and just kind of let them know what we have to offer, and that we're not just for this community, we're from everywhere. I mean, even at this table, you've got La Mesa, Jamul, Lakeside, El Cajon. I mean, we're pretty far-reaching. So I think we're actually kind of doing a pretty good job of getting the diversity. But I think certainly going out, reaching out a little bit further, can get a few more in.
All right, thank you. And Jerry Lancaster.
Yep. So I guess, like, similar to what everyone else said, the way to influence the incoming demographics are to outreach to the 8th graders, right? The middle school kids that are about to come in. I know over at Parkway, there are very few kids talking about Steele Canyon. It's not that far away, but like geographically not that far away. But yeah, more of the kids are talking about Helix. More of the kids are talking about their sports programs and stuff. So I think doing a little bit more of a proactive kind of outreach to the middle schools and the community at large when it comes to looping in our sports programs, looping in our academic programs, and getting our clubs involved. I think if we can kind of like influence our kids here at Steele to kind of want to do that, I know my daughter super into cheerleading, also super happy to work with little ones, you know? So if there were a group of kids here at Steele Canyon that we could kind of use as our little junior recruiters, that would be that would be awesome. But I know from my own personal experience at Parkway, there's a heavy interest in sports at that school, and just not a lot of Steele Canyon representation as far as, you know, that's concerned. So I think I'm sure that may or may not be like an isolated kind of incident. That's just one middle school. I know we have several that feed into us, but if we get the good word out, people are going to come. It's awesome here.
Thank you all. Are there any other questions from the audience?
I do. I have one.
Yeah, come on up.
I think I can project from here.
Okay.
You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tiffany, my son's a junior here at the high school. We just got into Steele Canyon last year when he was in 10th grade. We were overseas. I'm retired Navy, by the way. So, real quick, you guys talk about the programs that we currently have in here. Something that I noticed is, and we talk about Helix a lot, and we talk about actually sharing with those high schools and finding out how they run their programs that they have, such as, like, for example, they have a program called Expire Program, where they have different programs for the kids the high school students before and after, kind of keep them from being just outside. So they have stuff to do in there, and they have programs available. What is your thought on trying to find, if we can afford it, I don't know if we afford it or not, to try to get a grant writer to help us get funding to be able to do more programs like that we pull in, like folks because like you said, you have folks that you know that's out that you can get like internships with, like Trio Whites is a program that works with San Diego Mesa College. My son was in that program. But they want to come out to more high schools and participate in before and after school programs for kids. And they start working with them with like computers, coding, all that great stuff. That's local. So what are your thoughts on that? And how would we go about getting those things?
You want to start?
I'll start with Nicole.
Okay.
Go ahead. Take it home. Take it away.
So no, it's interesting that you mentioned the before and after, because when all the schools had to start at 8:30, it's like I know that there were still kids that got here at 7 because that's when their parents could drop them off. And so they need something to do in the morning. So I completely agree with you. And as far as writing a grant, I've never done that, but it's definitely something that I could research and learn how to do.
Because I know in our high school, in the elementary, my son went to Bernard Elementary, Emerging Chinese program in PB, Pacific Beach, in PB. But they had a grant writer. It was like a parent that did it, but then I know we don't have that funding for, I don't know, how does that work?
But that's something that we could definitely research and figure out how to do that for you. I mean, because I totally agree. I mean, I think, that's an hour and a half where those kids are here. And then we have also a lot of the kids that bus too. From, I don't know if you've seen that bus that drops off a bunch of kids. So I mean, and it's constantly coming. So we definitely need something for those kids to do, especially before school. And I think after school, I've seen kids just kind of sitting around. You've got the kids that do the sports, but what about those other kids? So I completely agree with you.
Go to sports after they don't have a class, maybe a program to do different computers, something.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Languages or computers or something. Yeah, that'd be great.
Brings me to that. I'll let you guys finish, and then I have another question on that. But
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you, Nicole.
Of course.
Go ahead, Susan. Take it away. I'm listening.
Yes, I definitely think to see if we could get a grant writer in would be an amazing thing to have. Just because having someone that's dedicated to doing that one job, yes, the more money we can get, the better. But certainly, I think different programs. One of the types of programs I think would be most beneficial for all of the students, whether they have something to do or not, would be like a financial peace literacy type of program where they're taught how to budget, they're taught how to where they need to make their money, how they need to save their money, how they can save for retirement in the long run, because that was something I didn't get. So it's like, okay, I'm getting close to retirement. I hope my money's where it was supposed to be. But if the students could learn that now before they have to, so that way they can at least have it in their back pocket and like, okay, I've got my job. I need to put this much money here, this much money to savings, this much money to whatever I'm going to go play with. So that way they have something that they could do. But I certainly think that having a grant writer to be able to get us the money to have certainly a program like Financial Peace Literacy come in would be amazing, top notch, that could be done before or after school.
Thank you. And Mr. Lancaster.
So I love the idea of having a grant writer. I love the idea of the kids having somewhere to go after school or a little bit before school if they need to. With the kind of nonprofit nature of the school, I want to see if we can get that done as cheaply as possible. My first question would be, who writes our grants at this time, right? Do we have a grant writer on board? Do we need another one? Can we like solicit volunteers? I know SDSU has like a grant writing program. I think it's not like a degree. It's like a certificate program that they have. So you have folks being trained to be grant writers. They're seeking out the education for it, right? Maybe they'd like a resume bullet. Can we get it for free? Is what I'm trying to say, right? Okay, so if not, I think that a grant writer could be something that easily pays for itself if we're like soliciting the right grants and stuff. But my first question would be like, who writes the grants now? Are they doing a good job? How much grant money is coming in, right? How much is the program specifically that we're trying to get? And like, if we need an additional grant writer, can a parent do it? Can one of the college students do it? Can we get someone in here to volunteer? And, you know, like if, you know, that's just what I mean if we're targeting one specific program. But just having one on board, I like that idea. I just don't know if we already have one.
I have another question. Can I ask one more question?
Does anybody
Oh,
else
anybody else?
have a? Right.
I know.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. You're up.
So, I've heard a lot about our program here. One thing I would like to see, my son's leaving in about another year, more languages in the school. So we're more competitive. The thing is being competitive with all the schools across, even in Otay. We live in Otay, but my son went to school in PB when he was in middle school, because he finished that program. But having more languages here would make, that's another way of diversity as well. But I know it comes with having to have the teachers that are trained and qualified, because that was an experience in elementary when you have multiple languages. But like, just, what are your thoughts on that? I know we mentioned it briefly. So,
Oh, no, I think that that would be amazing. I know that my son right now is actually taking sign language, and he loves it. And he's my one that has the IEP, that has a learning disability. So Spanish was really tough for him because he flips a lot of letters. And so he tried to take Spanish and then realized that that wasn't for him. So maybe having a different, like something else for him to try besides sign language could be a good thing. I would love that. But right now he's really, I mean, excelling in sign language because it is something different, and it's something that they offer through the college. And that could be a way to go too, is maybe there's some, we can, you know, mirror with the college and use some of their classes
I
that
have
are,
them trying with us, right? Like, they offer like Mandarin.
yeah, so
multiple
we could,
languages, so we can be more competitive. With
so we could definitely use, you know, Cuyamaca College and bring some of those languages, or have our kids go over there, because it is a college class that he's taking right now.
Rosemont offers it, but they offer, you know, San Diego Mesa offers a lot of schools, so a lot of colleges, a lot of courses too. So
Okay.
that was I'm not gonna ask that third question, but I'll stop there. But go ahead, Suzanne.
Yeah, I certainly believe that more languages would be more beneficial. I know, along with Spanish, Chinese is one of the most popular
What's the
languages
number one? Yeah.
in the world as far as business communications is concerned. So that right there, just if they have some kind of knowledge, if they have knowledge of almost any other language, then we can be kind of on par with the rest of the world that knows 2 or 3. And it just, I find knowing more languages, you're able to communicate and
Understand the
reach more people, have more community built, which helps create the more unifying of the diversity. So if you have Spanish speaker, Chinese speaker, and someone who speaks both, you have a set right there where everybody can be heard and be communicated with. And it'll only lead to better things. The more languages you know, the more words you'll know, the more you can communicate with people, more people. And it's just a better, more beneficial thing all the way around to have more languages.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Lancaster.
Okay, I want to make sure I remember specifically your question. You just wanted to hear our thoughts on the...
Adding more programs, more languages, that was the other, adding more languages to our
Okay.
current school, because we don't have, to be more competitive with all the other
Sure.
schools that have, more languages.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's in the school.
So I'm definitely like a big fan of the Spanish my daughter's learning, right? Like she took the Spanish class, she was very excited to get in there, and we're like talking about maybe going to Mexico, it's right there, you know, and so that's very exciting. And you know, I'm right there with you as far as it helping with the diversity. So I mean, like you know, my daughter is who she is, and she's getting her own perspective from her own life experience, you know, but you know, any language class, it's impossible, I think, I'm not a language expert, but it's impossible to learn a language in a vacuum. So from what I understand, any class you take is going to be kind of a cultural experience, and you're going to learn a little bit about the people and their history and, you know, the things that just make it different, because, you know, we all turn, you know, something like a sunset into like a organized series of grunts in our own different way, right? As far as getting that here, so I'm very pro language, and I think it is gonna directly impact like the diversity of thought among our student body. The way I think we should go about it is keeping the language programs we have here strong and leaning hard into like Cuyamaca. Their language programs reflect the diversity of our community, and I think at the last board meeting I attended, there was a new thing on the agenda where they were going to be adding potentially the grade weight for like college courses. So that's gonna kind of like have
And Rosemont as well.
yeah,
Rosemont
I think
obviously.
so, but I'm not 100% on that. I'd have
They
to.
do.
Okay, so I think that's gonna like incentivize students, and you know, like we could certainly do a better job of making sure everybody's aware that that program exists, so that our kids can kind of get that experience. But I'm all about it.
All right, thank you.
I have one question.
Sure.
Can I ask one question? Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, it just as I was coming. So I have a question for obviously for all of you guys. So outside of the traffic concern, as far as like traffic congestion, which all of you guys had said is one of your main, you know, areas of growth and concerns, which I think everybody as a parent, speaking as a parent, has the same issue. My question would be, was there any specific issue that you as a parent of Steel Canyon feels as if has not been addressed by the board to date in your needs, or that you have not, that you felt as though you needed to step in or you wanted to step in to help bring that need along in the school?
I think we should start with either Susanna or Jerry this time.
Mine's going to be kind of short, because as far as I'm concerned, I have not had needs that were not met. My son had an IEP for 4 years, and it was the best 4 years he could have had. Everything went well, and he's in college now, mechanical engineering. So I have not had any issues that haven't been addressed. Everything has been A-okay, and my purpose for wanting to be on the board is to ensure that it continues to be that way.
All right, Mr. Lancaster.
I mean, so my daughter's just a freshman, right? So, like, I haven't had any needs to address up to this point. No, but like, you know, and just wanting to get involved and informed. When we started the school year and the teachers weren't doing the clubs, I was a little concerned, but as I understand it, that's just kind of how the bargaining things go sometimes. And we got back up and running, and all those awesome clubs that we're talking about, you know, they're in full swing. And, you know, it, like, that concern got kind of quelled in my head before the board meeting, where I would have had the opportunity to address them, you know. But, so I guess nothing, yeah.
All right, and Nicole Hall.
So I do have one thing that we haven't mentioned, and that's the AVID program here. It's at Steel Canyon. It is amazing program. My oldest went through it, and it really helped him prepare for college. I mean, just ridiculous. It was so amazing. He got to travel to colleges. Even in COVID, they tried to make it happen. And then my youngest is also an AVID. And so he's kind of going through preparing for college and preparing, it helps him learn how to study. But then I have my middle child who wants to go to college, but isn't quite sure exactly what he wants to do. My other two are focused, a little more focused. And so I think with that one, I definitely had to reach out a little bit more with, you know, what is the plan for the kids that don't have the AVID? How do we address the college applications? But I mean, I have to tell you, I got immediate responses when I did ask. So they're definitely, everyone's on top of it. There's workshops now, and there's all these things that he is going to, but it's also trying to keep him motivated at home, and so that's the hardest part. But that's the only thing I had to address.
All right. That's going to conclude our question and answer period for now. I want to thank you all for sharing information about yourself to help our Cougar families make an informed decision as they cast their vote for the open community board member seat at Steele Canyon High School. And personally, Steele Canyon is a community effort to run. We chose to be a charter school, and that means we all have to do a little bit more. And for the community, that means we have to have we have to have community members choose to be on our board. And so I want to thank all three of you for putting yourselves out there, for coming tonight and considering being candidates. I really do appreciate all of your contributions that you make. So the ballots have been mailed out to Steele Canyon families. They also include a bio by each of the candidates. Your ballot can be returned by mail or delivered in person. All ballots must be received in the front office by 3:30 p.m. on Friday, October 23rd. And that concludes our event for this evening. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys so
Thanks
much
for
for
having us.
coming.